Episode 41. Honestly, I'm rich.
Jeff, what do you have to say for yourself?
Mr. Berkeley asked as he held up the note.
The truth isn't what you're thinking. I was trying to help Mr. Kent by writing this note.
All Jeff could do is try to defend himself, whether they believed him or not.
It's written so clearly on this paper, yet you're still trying to argue. You are dumb.
Jonah sneered as she looked at Jeff. Now she was feeling good.
Swindling Mr. Kent out of $350,000. You'll serve 20 years for this.
Jonah took out her phone and started to call 911. Mr. Berkeley stopped her and said,
Wait a moment. Let's take him to the hospital and confront Mr. Kent with that girl. We'll see if he dares to face Mr. Kent.
Mr. Berkeley grabbed Jeff, afraid that he would try to run away. Hearing that Lelane was also involved, Jeff became afraid.
Lelane's such a delicate person.
He thought.
How will she ever cope with this?
He didn't think about his situation at all. He only wanted to get back to Lelane's side to protect her. Mr. Berkeley escorted Jeff to the school gate, got him into his car. They drove straight to the hospital. By this time, Mr. Kent's ward had become quite crowded with students. They had heard that the money had been found and had decided to come to the hospital themselves to find out more. Of course, Steve and Andrea were also there. They had heard that Jeff was the thief. They had come to gloat. As Mr. Berkeley escorted Jeff inside the hospital, the students started calling out. One said,
Hey, isn't that the rich guy who donated all the money?
Jeff, you're so gorgeous. You're my idol. Can we talk on Snapchat?
Said another. Another girl called out.
Jeff, I love you. We look so great together. Give me a chance.
A small group of female students ran up to Jeff and tried to grab his attention. Steve and Andrea rushed over, and Andrea said to the girls,
Are you all dumb? What a bunch of idiots you are. It was him that stole Mr. Kent's money.
Steve backed her up.
It's true. That scum stole $350,000. All he cares about is money.
The students started to believe Steve and Andrea. One said,
You stole the money from Mr. Kent, you scumbag.
Another joined in.
That money was to build up the internship program, and you took it to spend on yourself and your girlfriend. You sleaze bag. I hope they catch you, or Mr. Kent will be blamed for the missing money.
Mr. Kent's such a good person. He's your teacher, and this is how you repay him.
In no time at all, the girls had turned against him. They were angry, and some even punched Jeff a few times. Although it was painful, Jeff didn't feel it at all. He didn't try to defend himself. As his mind was focused on worrying about Lelane, he had a bad feeling. He was sure that these people were capable of treating Lelane as cruelly as they were treating him. Ignoring the punches and kicks and insults from his classmates, Jeff strode into Christopher's ward. When he entered the ward, he couldn't believe what he saw. Lelane was sprawled on the ground, surrounded by a circle of people. Her hair was messy, and there were traces of saliva on the top of her head. There were even a few gray footprints on the new beige dress that he had bought her.
Lelane.
In his heart, Jeff blamed himself. He hadn't protected her properly, and he was furious.
You scum. I'll kill you all.
Jeff was about to throw a chair at the other students. He looked deranged. Lelane stopped him. She cried.
Jeff, no.
He stopped and looked at her. His eyes were red and he was shaking. A small smile appeared on Lelane's battered face.
Don't fight with them. Just tell them that you're not the person who stole the money, and then get me away from here.
Okay.
Jeff put down the chair, walked to Lelane's side and hugged her. He gently tied up her messy hair as if there were no one else in the room. The others were scared of his temper, so they kept quiet and watched.
Oh, wow. These two scumbags are showing us how much they love each other.
Jonah crossed her arms and walked over to Jeff and Lelane with a proud smile.
Jeff, tell me, where did you put what's left of the stolen money? Quickly hand over the details.
I didn't touch Mr. Kent's money.
Jeff didn't even look at Jonah. He was still fussing over Lelane.
Even now, you won't admit it.
Jonah said, then took out the note he had written.
Mr. Kent, everyone, look. When we found Jeff, he was writing this note. The words on it explain everything.
After the students finished reading the note, they handed it to Christopher. He didn't want to believe it, but he couldn't deny what he was reading. He was heartbroken.
Jeff, this is...
Mr. Kent, I wrote this on purpose to help you.
Jeff started to explain. Jonah burst out laughing.
Do you know that's bullshit?
She looked at Jeff with a sneer and continued.
Tell us, if you didn't steal it, where did you get the $130,000 for the donation and the money to go out for expensive meals and to buy designer clothes for this peasant? Go on, tell us.
She continued.
Are you trying to say that you won all that money on lottery tickets? Bullshit. Who the hell would believe you?
Jonah was determined to make sure that everyone hated Jeff. Jeff thought.
Previously, I had to hide my identity to avoid problems. But now, it seems that hiding my identity has made these people despise me even more. And I've even caused Lelane to get beaten up. What's the use of hiding who I'm any longer?
He said.
It's true that I didn't win the money in the lottery.
He helped Lelane stand up and looked at Jonah with a faint smile.
This money is all mine. My family is rich.
When Jeff finished speaking, and everyone in the ward was stunned for a moment, before bursting out in laughter, Jonah laughed and said,
Jeff, is that all you've got? Can't you think of anything better? With that image, I think you should really be a screenwriter.
She didn't believe him at all.
If you're rich, then I'm super rich. Maybe you should call me Lady Jonah.
She joked. Jeff replied in earnest.
I'm one of the richest people in the world, and you're still being rude to me. You'd better watch out, or my family will destroy yours.
The others didn't take his words seriously at all. Jeff was really angry.
This bunch of arrogant kids.
He thought.
They have no idea who they're talking to right now. With a single word from my father, their entire families could vanish in the thin air.
He looked around at the people present and said,
Listen to me. You have no idea how powerful my family is. Everything you eat, all your clothes, everything you use at school, all your medical treatments, even your cars and houses, even the buttons you've got on your clothes. They've all come from my family's businesses. I advise you to keep your mouths shut.
The others burst into laughter. In their eyes, Jeff was a raving lunatic.
What's this idiot saying?
One of the students said.
Is he trying to make me die from laughing too hard? Is he distracting us so he can run away? Hurry up and record it on your phones. Jeff is going to be famous on social media.
No one believed Jeff's words. Only Lelane knew he was speaking the truth. One of the teachers from the Student Affairs office approached Jeff and advised him.
Jeff, the school has already recovered the $130,000 you donated. As long as you hand over the rest of the stolen money, I can assure you that the school will treat you with leniency.
I'll say it again. That money is my own money. I never touched Mr. Kent's money.
Jeff said coldly. He thought.
Okay, if you insist, I'll show you who my family are. You have no idea.
With this in mind, he took out his Metro Bank Supreme card from his pocket and held it up.
This is my Metro Bank Supreme card. In my account, you'll find I have around $20 million. If any of you don't believe me, you can take this card and look for yourselves. If anyone dares touch a single cent of this money, I'll guarantee you'll regret it.
Jeff's card looked cool, and no one there was rich enough to have a Supreme card. They had heard about them, but had never seen one.
Have we made this kid go completely crazy?
One student asked. Another responded.
Don't you need $3 million to use the Metro Bank?
If he wants to play Let's Humor, it'll be entertaining.
The hospital has a card machine. Let's go right now.
Another suggested. The card machine was quickly brought to the ward. Jonah personally held the Supreme card and prepared to try it. Jeff stood calmly at the side and watched. He was thinking.
I can't wait to see their reactions when they see the amount of money in the account. They'll be stunned, and I'm sure they'll all start sucking up to me then. They'll soon know how stupid they've been, and how badly they've treated me and Lelane.
Jeff entered his PIN, but instead of displaying $20 million, a few words flashed across the screen. This account is temporarily unavailable, Jonah said sarcastically.
All right, this is the Metro Bank Supreme card, and it doesn't even work on the card machine.
The others also mocked and ridiculed him.
Who can this be?
Jeff wondered. He couldn't figure out what was happening.
I've used my card in the last few days, and it was fine. A few days ago, I even bought a villa at Green Island Garden.
He quickly called the customer manager of Metro Bank, Albert Miller, to ask him about his account.
Sorry, Mr. Florento. Your card is connected to your family's account half an hour ago. Your card was restricted by your family. I'm sorry, but you can no longer use it.
My family?
Jeff thought.
But my family only just given me access to my money. Why have they stopped me from using it again so quickly?
Jeff was shocked and confused. He called Alfred Owens.
Alfred, what's going on with my account?
Jeff asked urgently.
Alfred
was also troubled.
It's like this, sir. In the short period since you've had access to your money, you've already spent almost $200,000. Although this is not a huge sum of money, some members of the family think that you haven't yet matured enough to have access to your account, so it's been temporarily frozen. But don't worry. I believe that it should be released again very soon.